Today I'm going to show you how to access your profile in Unified Classrooms. You're going to click on Quick Links on the left-hand panel and scroll down to Learning My Portal. This is going to take you to your classroom pages. Once you're in Classroom, you're going to click on My Classes, and you're going to want to make sure that all of your classes are activated. Over the summer, classes become inactivated, and you may have some classes from last year that are inactivated. So your first step is to go to My Classes and click on the Inactive tab. You might also get a tour similar to this one if it's your first time logging in or you haven't logged in a while. So you can see that this class had no active classes and all inactive classes for this year. So I'm just going to start with math. You can start with any class that you'd like. And this is what you'll see when you open up your new classroom page. Again, it may take you on a tour if it's your first time logging in. Before adding any content to your page, I recommend going to Manage Class and Edit Roster to verify that all of your students have been added into your classroom before moving forward. Once you've verified that all of your students are inputted correctly, you can make your class active. You can keep that the class will be active forever and leave the visibility to only people in the class roster. And now it's active. One of the very first things I'm going to do is change the title of this page, and I'm just going to call it This Teacher's Math Class. Once that's done, I can hit save and then think about adding content blocks. A content block essentially lets me pull things from the internet, embed from the web, add video, audio, images, files, anything that you think you might want to upload, maybe for an assignment or for resources. You can also create a text box with an introduction, just a welcome to the class or an explanation of what this will be used for. One thing you do want to make sure of is that your block has a title, because it will not let you add any content without a title. In order to add an assignment, I'm going to click on Activities in the top toolbar and click on Assignments. And you'll see that it'll have a list of assignments that you've already created, how many you have unsubmitted, ungraded. You can view their work in this portal, but you can also add an assignment. And in here is where I can add the credentials for my assignment. So I always need a title. This title will correspond to the title in your grade book. So make sure that whatever you title it, you're doing it with fidelity so that you know what it is, so that the parent knows what it is, and the student knows what it is. Then you have your directions. You can leave your rubric blank. We won't need that. You can add directions and the due date. It defaults to about a week out, but you can obviously change that to whatever you'd like. And then for the display options, you do want to be aware of this. So if you're allowing students to submit work online, you're going to leave that checked, but if you're just making them turn something in, uncheck that. You will save it to your grade book. You want to change the total points to 4 and auto-calculate the assignment. And then hit save. So I'm just going to create another assignment for you. And this would be something that I'm not having them turn in online. I'm having them turn it into the turn-in bin in the classroom. So this is where I would change my default to allow students to submit work online. I would uncheck that. So here I can change my due date again. And I'm going to uncheck allow students to submit work online, change my total points to 4, and then save the assignment. And you'll see it's been added to my list. Once my assignments are input, I'm going to click on Grading and click on Score Sheet. This is going to take us out of Power Learning back into PowerSchool to grade our assignments or see our grade book. So right here you can click on these cells and see that you can add points. You'll see the A+ sign, but we don't want to be inputting scores into here. So you're going to click on the assignment you want to grade and click Go to Assignment, and that'll get rid of that A+ column that you saw. And from there, you have a couple different options of how you want to look at this information. So you can hit Edit Assignment. And if this is linked to standards, you are going to want to change and add those standards. So I'm going to click on Standards and hit Add Edit Standards, and you'll see that the standards for that subject only come up. So you're going to check the standards that this assignment assesses and hit Save and Close when you're all done. So that's the first thing you want to do before you input any numerical standards-based grade. You want to make sure to attach the standard to it so that you can then click the standard and give the score. So you have the fill option up and down, and then you can go in and change your students as you see their grades are incorrect. This is one easy way to do it. You'll notice that if you put a number that is invalid, it will tell you that and you'll be able to fix it. So I can fill all of those with a 2, not that they all got a 2, but then I can go in and change my scores easier. Now I can toggle between my next assignment and it will prompt me to save and continue. And I can then work on my next assignment. So remember that I want to, with this one, I didn't have them turn anything in online. I just needed to show that it was completed. So I just hit collected. I didn't tag any standards to it, and I marked who was late turning it in. What's really great is that if you're using the gradebook with Fidelity, you can scroll back down to Unified Classroom, your home page, and see the standards that you've assessed and how many of your students are where they fall within each standard, which allows you to flex group. It allows you to see the projection of your class, which is really, really nice. It also allows you to see how many assignments you've given with that standard aligned to it. So as you can see, it tells you numerically under these directions. It tells you numerically how many students are where and where they fall. If I click on one of the standards, it'll open up to how many times I've assessed, what students are below, on, or above, and you can group that way based on that standard. So it has a lot of flexibility with checking out your standards grades distribution. Once you have enough assignments tagged to standards, you can click on a student and see how many standards you've assessed as well as how many assignments are attached to specific standards. In the column assignments, you can click on the number, which shows you how many assignments there are tagged to that standard, and then you'll be able to see a graph of their progress with that specific standard, what assignments are attached to that standard, and what they received, allowing you to then guide your instruction based on this graph per student. You can also show the metrics of this standard, the mean, median, mode. I can also toggle between standards at the top to check out different graphs, different metrics, and the additional assignments that are attached to this specific standard.